Good day, learners. In this video, we're going to talk about solving problems involving Pythagorean theorem. The key idea that we're going to apply is solving problems using the Pythagorean theorem. Without further ado, let's have problem number one. The bottom of the ladder must be placed 10 feet from a wall. The ladder is 15 feet long. How far above the ground does the ladder touch the wall? The first thing that we need to do is to illustrate the problem. Let's have the following illustration. We have a wall, and it is stated must be placed 10 feet away from the wall. So we have 10 feet. And we have, of course, the ladder that is 10 feet that will be placed against the wall. If we're going to observe it, we could form a right triangle between the wall and the ladder. Okay? Now we are asked how far above the ground does the ladder touch the wall. In order to obtain this one, obtain the length, I mean the distance, is we're going to apply Pythagorean theorem. Let's get the form the right triangle and put the given, of course. We could see that the ladder represents our hypotenuse, and that is 15 feet. And 10 feet, the distance between the foot of the ladder and the wall, represents the shorter leg of the right triangle. So if we're going to observe it, we are missing b, or the measurement of b. We're going to use the derived formula from the Pythagorean theorem, which is b squared equals c squared minus e squared. Okay, let's proceed. Let's substitute the given, where c will become 15 feet and a will become 10 feet. Copy b squared, and we're going to have equals the quantity of 15 feet squared minus 10 feet squared. We're going to proceed to simplification. We're going to simplify it further by getting the squares of both numbers. So b squared will become 225 feet squared minus 100 feet squared. Let's get the difference between the two. Copy b squared, and we're going to obtain 125 feet squared. We only need b, so we're going to apply the square root property on both sides of the equation. So we're going to have this one. The square root of b squared equals the square root of 125 feet squared. Simplified further, the square root of b squared will become b, and the square root of 125 feet squared will become 11.1803 feet. Or simply, let's round it off to the nearest hundreds. So we're going to obtain the final answer, 11.18 feet. And that is problem number one. Now let's talk about another problem, the last and the second problem, of course. So let's have a basketball court, which is a rectangle having dimensions of 28-meter long and 15-meter wide. If the coach asks his players to run from one corner to corner diagonally, they go diagonally across the court, how far do the players run? So let's have the illustration. This is the court, and the coach asks his players to run from one corner to another corner, forming a diagonal pattern. Now, if we're going to look at it, it could have a form a right triangle. Okay, ayan. Now, in order for us to solve the distance run by the players, we could use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, let's proceed on getting the triangle, and we could have this one. C equals blank. Now, if we're going to observe it, it is the diagonal pattern that is formed, or the diagonal root of the players. 15 meters is the width of the court, and 28 meters is the length of the court. Now we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem in order for us to obtain the distance, okay, that the players run. Okay, let's have c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Now let's have the substitution where a will become 15 meters and b will become 28 meters. Okay, let's have this. 1c squared equals the quantity of 15 meters squared plus 28 meters squared. After that, let's proceed to simplification. Obtain the squares of the following items. C squared equals 225 meters squared plus 784 meters squared that came from 28 meters. Let's add them both. So we're going to obtain c squared equals 1009 meters squared. Apply the square root property to obtain c and its value. So we're going to have square root of c squared equals square root of 1009. Sorry, I forget to with m right here or the meter, then squared. Okay. C will become C squared will become C, and the square root of 1009 meters squared is equal to 31.7648 meters. Let's round it off to its to the nearest hundred. So we're going to have 31.76 meters as our final answer, as the distance traveled by the players. Okay. So if you have questions, just comment it on the comment section. And if we have blurred the understanding, you did not get it on the one go, you could go back on each part of the video clip. Without further ado, and that's all. I would like to thank you. See you on the next video. Thank you.